going to be doing some measurements, but first what I want you to do is just raise your arms up. Okay, that looks good. Now your elbows at your side. I want you to turn your palms up and now down. Make fists. Okay, straighten your fingers out. Okay, I'm going to take some specific measurements. The first one I'm going to look at is called supination. I want your elbow at your side. All right, and turn your palm up, okay, your thumb up. Then I want you to turn all the way up with your palm facing up. Okay. All right, now we're going to do the other one. Your elbow at your side, keep it at your side. Okay, and turn your palm up. Okay. Now we're going to measure your wrist on the side. And what I want you to do is move your wrist back toward that wall there. There you go.
Good.
Got it?
Yeah. I don't know if they'll be able to read it, but
okay. All right. And we're going to do the same thing on your left. All right. Okay. Good. All right. We're going to measure your grip strength, and with your right hand, squeeze as hard as you can. And you did say you're right dominant, correct? Okay.
Yes.
okay,
Got
got
it.
it.
Now that one hurts.
Okay. Okay.
Got it.
All right. And then you would do that several times, but for time's sake, we're only going to do it the one time. Okay. And we're going to do a lateral pinch where you pinch like that. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to do 3-point pinch, both fingers on top. There you go. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
No.
Did you get it?
I don't think I got it, but that's
okay,
it.
let's try it again.
Now. Let's see. Got it.
Okay. All right. You indicated that your pain right now is 2 out of 10.
Yeah, and it's not all the time. It's, you know, occasionally when I do things that, you know,
Okay. All right.
maybe lifting stuff, maybe playing with a mouse.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
All right. Do you have any numbness and tingling in your fingers or your hands?
Well,
Okay, so when I touch you over here, it feels the same as over here. Okay, all right. Okay, I understand you had a cast and a Chukotan splint and then a regular splint at different intervals, but you totally were out of a cast or any immobilization on November the 18th.
yes.
And then you went to therapy for 12 visits, and that last visit was January the 14th.
Yes.
Okay, all right. What we're going to do now is, because I've noticed some decreased range of motion that we talked about, I'm not going to say it on tape because I want the students to figure that out. But I am going to show some joint mobilization techniques that will help with that, okay? The first thing that I want to do is a joint distraction. Normally we would do this lying down, but I'm going to try to do it here with sitting at the table for convenience sake. So can you go into that there? Okay.
Just making sure I can read it here. Okay.
Okay. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm holding the elbow here and then pulling out. So I'm literally distracting the radial humeral joint that's right here. So we're distracting that to pull that out. After a fracture, you end up having a lot of the musculature and the interosseous membrane and all of that tightening. So what I'm trying to do is just Loosen that up a little bit. And for the students that are watching, normally I would do this right after a particular modality, and I want you guys to respond on your answer sheet on what modality that would be and why. Okay, any pain with any of that? Okay. All right, so that's that technique that I do. Then I'm going to do this technique here. It's a distal ulnar glide. And as I've told you in class, what we're doing is you've got the two bones, the radius and the ulna. And so what I'm doing is literally kind of walking on her radius and ulna. So that what I'm doing is trying to stretch out the membrane that connects the two. And I can tell already I don't have a whole lot of play here. But what I'm going to do is just compare here because I want to see. And we do have more play on the right. And I don't know if you guys can tell.
Left.
Excuse me, left. Your other right. It's on my right. I don't know if you guys can tell, there is still some residual swelling. I can tell that even without having to do measurements between the right and the left. So again, that's putting pressure on the musculature. All right, so that was the distal ulnar glide that we were doing, and that helps with supination and pronation. And you can do that and walk up the radius and the ulna and continue that there. Usually this feels good to most individuals. You don't want to cause pain with it, okay? So then the next thing that you're going to do is what we call the radiocarpal joint glide. And so what you're doing is almost like you are shaking their hand, and you've got your other hand here, and you're doing a distraction, okay? And then, so you're literally, your hands are pulling the joint out, and so it's creating additional space in the joint. Now, after I do that for a little bit, I then work on wrist extension and flexion. Now, if you remember from the range, we had more difficulty with the extension, which is common. Yeah. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to distract, and then I'm going to pull up. And as you can tell already, I've got significant more range of motion. Let me see if I can hold that up and measure it at the same time. What happened to me down here?
Right here.
Oh, there it is. All right. I can't see if I'm right on the joint.
Yeah, I think you're pretty good, actually.
Okay.
I get in here and get a number.
All right, I'm going to do it again, this time without extending the fingers because that does affect it. So we are getting more.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. And I'm just going to play a little bit. And the other thing is you can do ulnar and radial deviation while doing this distraction. So I'm literally holding onto the forearm to stabilize that, and I'm distracting the hand, almost as if I'm shaking her hand but pulling it out a little bit. And then I can go radially. And you always want to work in one direction several times rather than go from the extremes, radial to ulnar. So you want to only work in one direction, get that loosened up, and then you're going to go in the other direction. And I feel the musculature relaxing there. I'm going to go back to here because this is where I'm feeling most of the tightness through here.
That does kind of cramp up, you know, when I've been using it a lot.
Okay.
Like it kind of, arm kind of gets cramped.
And that makes sense. Now, had I used the modality that hopefully you guys will come up with, I would be able to get much more response after this. Okay, now you saw the radial and ulnar deviation glide. Now I'm going to show you another way to do that, and you can zero in on that. And let's put this here. Is that going to block the view?
I got it.
Okay. So I'm distracting, and again, it's similar to what we were doing there with it laying on the table. Okay. All right, and then radially. And radially is easier for her than it is ulnarly. Now, the one thing that I forgot to mention while I was doing this was, and let's go back to these pictures, the dorsal glide increases flexion, and then the volar increases extension. And if you remember correctly, which one was more involved, and it's the one that we will want to work on. Okay? And so I'm giving a downward pressure right on the forearm and stretching on the hand.
Do that one more time, Beth. There you go.
Do what?
I was going to say, do that one more time. Got it.
Okay. All right, I think that's it that we want to do.